So the big news for Donald Trump today, President Donald Trump today, former president if you like, he is holding that office after all. This says the Senate sent a strong signal today that there will not nearly be enough votes to convict President Trump in an impeachment trial because only 5 GOP senators were rejecting Senator Rand Paul's declaration that the trial was unconstitutional. Let me put that into some perspective and then we'll read the article. If you don't mind, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. 60% of people that watch the video are not subscribed. Maybe that's you. If so, there's a solution. It's pretty simple. A little button down there. If there's a bell or a support button or another notification, click that too. All of it helps and I sincerely appreciate it. But just to put this into perspective, if you're Senator Rand Paul and you want to get a test, a little litmus going for whether or not the Senate will convict Trump in an impeachment trial, the easiest thing to do is to motion that the trial would be unconstitutional. You can't have an unconstitutional trial in the Senate, so he pushes that it is unconstitutional. The vote came out 55 to 45 to table the motion. So the impeachment will still happen. The trial will still go through. But what that tells you, that's a telegraph. They're saying it's a strong signal. Because what that tells you is 45 to 55, that was the vote, 45 against tabling the motion, which means they were agreeing it's unconstitutional. 45 senators. Now, that does mean that you have at least 5 rhinos who believe that they should convict Trump. But it also tells you that because they voted that it's constitutional, they are allowed to have the trial, it kind of tells you how the trial will turn out. You'll have 55 voting in favor of conviction. You'll have 45 voting against. And I believe you need a 2/3 majority to find you guilty. So let's just read on here. They say the Senate sends this strong signal, and we just kind of went through it, voting 55 to 45 to set aside Rand Paul's motion. That's Senator Paul the Hill. Come on. At least have some respect. You guys are journalists. They say there were not nearly enough votes, but with all but 5 GOP senators siding with Senator Paul. GOP Senator Mitt Romney, well, they got him right, and Ben Sasse, Susan Collins, Murkowski, and Pat Toomey voted with Democrats. So basically all of the rhinos that you would have expected. It says the vote is the clearest sign yet that Trump is heading toward a second acquittal. 2 acquittals. 2 masks, 2 acquittals going on 2 terms in the long run. History will look back on this time and say, wow, I didn't realize that Tulsi Gabbard started her career as a DNC worker, as a congresswoman and then a DNC head. Wow, I thought she was with Trump in his second term. Just realized history's kind of funny, right? We're going to look back on this decade and be like, wow, that started out weird. So this is what I'm feeling. This is some jazzy, good, positive optimism here. You don't have to call it hopium. I'm extra hopeful about the future now, knowing that it looks like Trump will be acquitted, which means he can run and will be eligible for a second term. So, President Trump will be the first president to undergo a trial after leaving office, but the Senate previously held an impeachment trial for a cabinet official after they left office, so it should be fine. The Hill wants you to know that there's definitely precedent for why this is normal. Senator Paul, speaking ahead of the vote, warned that he wanted to force his colleagues to go on the record. Quote, if we're going to put every politician in jail, we are going to impeach every politician who has ever used the words fight figuratively in a speech. That's a shame, he said, accusing Democrats of being deranged by their hatred. Yeah, that's called Trump derangement syndrome. It's a real thing. Literally in the DSM-5, they have derangement by politics citing Trump. I want this body on record. Every last person here, the senator said. So several GOP senators said heading into the vote that they didn't make a decision on how they were going to vote. They did not talk to Rand Paul, and they had, until Tuesday's Senate floor schedule, didn't even know that they were going to force the vote. So he got a pretty good, clear indication is what that kind of means, at least to me. Because they didn't have time to wheel and deal and hide how they were going to vote. They just had to come out and say what they were going to do. Quote, I will admit to you, I did not think we'd be having a vote on this at this point in time, Murkowski said. Oh, they were surprised that they were going to try to table the impeachment trial? Senator Rand Paul motions to table the impeachment as the trial would be unconstitutional. Regardless of the arguments, 45 people said, yes, let's table it. Get rid of it altogether. Throw it out. 55 said, no, we're going to impeach. We're going to have the trial anyways. We've got the articles of impeachment. We have to follow the process, even if we think he'll get off. So, at most, 55 senators believe that they could find him guilty. but you need way more than 55 to convict. Legal professor Jonathan Turley attended a closed-door GOP lunch where senators discussed the strategy. The strategy being, if you can latch onto the argument, a growing number appear to be latching onto the argument that at the trial, which will start next month, is not constitutional. So again, Turley's going out to meetings. He's trying to test the water to see, is this even a constitutional trial or not? They say, quote, Congress would be opening itself to a dangerous standard by using impeachment as a tool of political revenge against a now private citizen. And the only remedy at this point is to strip the convicted of their ability to run for future office, a move that would be undoubtedly stripping millions of voters of their ability to choose a candidate in the next election. Right? So you could have, and you have historically had, leaders, national leaders who've served jail time, have been imprisoned by corrupt, if you want to call them that, governments, regimes. And when they eventually leave prison, they sometimes rise to power, right? Mandela. The other one was the Big H. So just to point that out, that is the reason that they're so afraid of Trump. They don't want to convict him and have him still be, because this is obviously unconstitutional, you can't be convicted, impeached of office, and then still be eligible for that office. So that is their end goal, right? We know this. But Rand Paul says, hey, if you're going to vote 45 to 55 in support of this being unconstitutional, that tells me all I need to know. If the Senate needs a 2/3 majority to convict, they're not going to get it. Not even close. So anyways, guys, that's what I think here. That's why I'm some hopeful, optimistic idiot looking at this going, oh, okay, great. He'll be able to run. Should be no problem. Thank you, Rand Paul, for kind of showing us ahead of time that Big Daddy okay. Trumpy gonna be just fine. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for liking the video, sharing this video everywhere that you can. And then thank you for supporting and subscribing to the channel. It really does mean a lot. I'm on BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, YouTube, Gab, and even Public. So go find me there at America Floats and do everything else that you can do to support Trump and to keep America afloat.